City of Douglas Mayor's Junior Youth Council meeting. This will serve as our regular meeting for March 18, 2021. Will come to order. Now we will have invocation motivations by Addy Harris.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Father, thank you for this day and thank you for honoring me blessings. Please help us to have a very productive meeting and to help us just get things done. Thank you for all you've done in our lives and all you will continue to do. And thank you for each and every person in here. In name I pray. Amen.
Can we say the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we will have approval of the order of the agenda. Open the floor of a motion. For a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll have talk about City of Douglas, Mayor Tony Paulk.
Hey, good evening. How's everybody doing? I'm going to be as brief as possible. One of the things I want to talk to you about is the things that are going on in the City of Douglas. Basically, the building projects. We've been very, very active. If you get the opportunity, ride out there to the high school, you'll see the sports complex going up. You will see the new building that's going up over there by Chick-fil-A is going to be Jersey Mike's, Starbucks, and the hospital is putting like an urgent care there. They should have broken ground today on Hobby Lobby. We're talking to industry. We went to Hour. That's probably going to be about a $60 million investment in Douglas. It's only going to bring about 20 jobs, but the jobs average pay is supposed to be about $18. Then we got a local plant here that's looking to expand. That's going to be about another $70 million. With the expansion is going to be somewhere around 125 jobs created. Starting pay is supposed to be around $16 an hour. We have another industry here that's doing a multiple expansion in 2 phases. It should take about 18 months to 2 years. At the conclusion of it, it's going to be about $125 million project, and it's going to be automation, a lot of robots and automation doing that. But things are really, really, really moving fast in the City of Douglas. And that's why it's so important that the Mayor's Youth Council be active and understand that in order for these things to happen, we have to have individuals that are sitting in those seats that make these decisions. One of the plants that that decided to expand here, we were in competition with Valdosta and a city out of Alabama, and they decided to come here because we were able to put together a packet. So in closing, it matters who leads this city. It matters who leads your church, and it matters what leadership say and what their actions are. Thank you.
Now we will have discussed recognitions by Ms. Denitra Williams.
Good evening. This is always the wonderful part of the evening where I get an opportunity to spotlight our wonderful youth that are doing outstanding things in our community. As I've said before, each month, one of the Mayor's Youth Council members' responsibility is to prepare for the meeting. And this month we have our very own Addy Harris, Commissioner. Hi, Addy. Addy, your certificate says the City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council acknowledges Addy Harris, Commissioner, given this 18th day of March 2021 by the Mayor's Youth Council. The City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council recognizes you for your contributions towards the excelling of the Mayor's Youth Council program. We appreciate your contribution to the program and to the great city of Douglas, Georgia. Woohoo! We wish you well in your future endeavors. This is for Miss Addy.
Thank you, Ms. Denitra.
And with that being said, one of her responsibilities is to identify a spotlight person to recognize a youth, as well as she had to help with other agenda items. So with that being said, Addy, I'll turn it over to you.
Today's spotlight for recognizing one of our youth is Blake Martin. He has put in over 600 hours of community service. He is a well-known person with Know Your Worth, and you all probably know him. He does videography for CCA, Coffee High School, and a bunch of other things. And we just wanted to recognize him for his outstanding work today.
Mr. Martin, would you like to share some words?
Sure. I just wanted to thank Addy for, recognizing me for this. And I love the city of Douglas and I love helping out the community. So thank you for this.
Thank you. And again, hats off to you, sir. And we have another community outstanding young man that we wanted to recognize this evening. And your certificate says, it was so many things. I had to pick and choose what could fit on the certificate like Mr. Martin's. These are some exceptional young individuals. And this says, the City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council acknowledges Arliss Sutton, given this 18th day of March 2021 by the Mayor's Youth Council. The City of Douglas Mayor's Youth Council recognizes you for your outstanding achievements of 13 years, perfect attendance, 3.3 cumulative GPA, member of FCLA, FCA, CCUP, Young Men's of Distinction, community leader, and volunteer. He has also excelled at Coffee High School 6A All-Region 1 Defense in Captain Award, shot put thrower, and Olympic bronze weightlifter. We wish you well in your future endeavors. Mr. Sutton, would you like to share a word with us?
Yes, ma'am. I gotta say something. I don't want to thank y'all for honoring me. I just love Coffee County because without y'all, without the community, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So I just want to thank y'all because it's been a long 4 years, but it's been fun. I want to pass it up for the world. So just thank y'all for everything. Well, I want to thank y'all too because I spent a lot of time in the community, as y'all know. So I don't want to thank y'all for just allowing me to be the young man that I need to be for y'all. Thank you.
Healthcare during COVID-19 with Dr. Lydia Tanner.
Well, what did you say?
Sorry, guys. This Zoom is kind of new to me. You would think I'd be Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
My connection is spotty, so if it gets sounding too robotic, let me know if it doesn't sound normal. Thank you all for having me to speak. Are you ready for me to talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was going to talk with you all about the world of medicine in the middle of a pandemic. I wanted to start with my background and kind of what led me into medicine in the beginning. When I was probably along the ages a lot of you on the youth council are now. There were two major things that influenced me to become a doctor. I'm a family physician in Douglas now, and started the decision to become a doctor when I was probably in elementary or junior high school. The first thing that influenced me to go into medicine was that my mother was very sick when I was young. And the doctors, way, way, way back in the 1970s when I was growing up, could barely figure out what was wrong with her. She was finally diagnosed with something called alpha-1 antitrypsin enzyme deficiency just before she passed away. And now, years later, through science and research and medicine and smart young people like all of you, alpha-1 has a cure. I was 5 years old when she died, and that has always been a driving force in my desire to become and being a successful physician. The other factor is a little less serious, and it was the movie Outbreak. It was about an Ebola pandemic, and it came out in the 1990s, I believe. At the time, the movie just seemed like an otherworldly type event, so unreal, so impossible, and so very scary. But now we are living out a pandemic. It's not quite as gruesome as Outbreak was, but it's very scary. I know all of you have been seriously affected by it in many ways, and it's been a tragedy that all this has happened over the last year. If you haven't seen the movie Outbreak, you need to watch it. The similarities to what's going on now with the pandemic and the coronavirus are so eerie, very similar. The diseases are very different, but the actual pandemic is very, very similar. When I went to medical school, I learned about epidemics and pandemics. I figured the closest I would ever come to a pandemic was maybe a really bad year of the flu. And to give you some clarification and definitions, an epidemic is when a certain disease occurs more than you would expect it to in a local area, like within a state or within a country. And flu epidemics happen most every year on most every continent. When the flu or another illness like coronavirus becomes global and spreads across the earth, that is called a pandemic. As you know, coronavirus is a pathogen that causes the coronavirus disease 2019, or that's how we got COVID-19 for short. Coronaviruses have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, so this virus is certainly not new. We first became more familiar with the coronaviruses when there was a MERS and a SARS outbreak in 2012 and 2003. Those illnesses are both caused by coronaviruses. Masks in the Middle and the Far East have been common for years, and you have probably seen people wearing them if you've been to an international airport in these past years. Those countries were already aware of the threat of the coronaviruses. This particular COVID-19 virus is just a new version of the virus that our immune systems are not familiar with. It started in one town in China in November 2019, and it spread across the world quickly. We reported the first US cases in January of 2020. Interestingly enough, the medical world had to wait for a diagnostic test of this new flu-like illness that was spreading. I personally was seeing very sick patients in my office, but their flu tests were negative all the way back in October of 2019. Patients would come in with cough, fever, illness, didn't feel well, headache. I would test them thinking they had the flu. They had to have a flu illness because they were so much sicker than a common cold. And they would always come back negative for flu. So I'm not saying it was coronavirus, but I am saying I did call the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta myself at that time and told them what I was seeing, because in 20 years of medicine, I've never seen anything like it. Graduated medical school in 2001, and this was very unusual, very different. When I called the CDC, they told me if it gets worse, call us back. And it got worse. So the Centers for Disease Control, as you know, is the U.S. agency in charge of calling an epidemic on U.S. soil, and it also helps run investigations on disease outbreaks. It's located in Atlanta, which gives a lot of you opportunities if you're interested in medicine or science to have very close access to a world-renowned facility. They keep every disease known to man in petri dishes there, so it can be a dangerous job. I did a little research on the CDC site. I had never really quite come across this before, but you can go there and see what current epidemics or pandemics they're studying. The coronavirus is third on the list of pandemics or epidemics at this time or investigations to look for epidemics that the CDC is looking at. The first one is turtles and salmonella infections. And then the second one is queso fresco with listeria infections. Both of those epidemics are being investigated starting in February. And something relevant to youth, one of the top investigations by the CDC is lung injury associated with e-cigarette use or vaping. And they started investigating that in August of 2019. So lots of science and interest on that CDC website that you guys can go and check out if you have any interest in that. Just to give a little background to show where COVID is, worldwide, there have been 2.7 million COVID deaths on the earth. And the US, 500,000 people have died from COVID. I know it hits close to home for many of you if you've lost a loved one due to COVID, and my heart really goes out to everyone affected by this disease. It's caused horrible illnesses, if not death in people. Certainly has affected the youth of the community, and you guys have been so resilient to push through and complete your schooling and education, and not to give up on the way things are being done. To give a little comparison, if you've heard of other epidemics like the Spanish flu in 1919, 675,000 people probably died from it. That was with no CDC, that was with no masking, with no sanitation measures. And so for us to have already lost 500,000 people to COVID is pretty profound. Back then, of course, they didn't have TV, they didn't have flu tests, they didn't have to collaborate, report diseases, and we have all of that at our disposal now, and we still have, such a horrible epidemic or pandemic on our hands. The good news is only about 20% of those that get infected with COVID-19 become very ill. And the people that have other health problems like diabetes, heart or lung disease, or obesity are the ones that are at the highest risk of getting really, really sick with COVID. 1 in 10 people with COVID that gets hospitalized will die from it. That number is improving somewhat as we adjust our treatment plan, but it's still pretty bad odds if you go in the hospital with COVID. The pandemic, fortunately, is slowing down some due to global immunity, vaccines, quarantines, masking, awareness to prevent the disease, but we're not through it yet. So I don't want to take away our hope, but I want us to be realistic. On the DPH, Department of Public Health website for Georgia, today alone in Georgia, we had 1,100 positive COVID tests, and we had 70 deaths in Georgia today. So it's not over. That doesn't mean to let our guards down. We need to continue to be vigilant and do what's recommended by the professionals to keep us safe. If you have people in the age group that can be vaccinated, which right now they're vaccinating ages 50 and above, and people who care for people over 65. So if you have a grandparent that's over 65 or even a parent, they can get vaccinated for COVID. So we just hope that we continue to go forward in a positive way and we defeat this horrible pandemic, and we need to protect our family and friends by following the guidelines that are put out. Now you guys can go watch Outbreak if y'all have not seen it. It's a really cool movie. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do some people have symptoms and others don't?
It seems to have a lot to do with how the immune system responds to the disease and how much of a viral load that person gets. So those two of those factors affect how sick they get. Younger people's immune system, I tell people immune systems are kind of like your army in your body to protect you from invaders. And so a young person has a very young army. They run straight to the virus or the infection and they begin to kill it and defeat it before it causes problems. But people who are sicker, who have diabetes and high sugar, which the virus loves, or are older, their armies are much slower and they don't get to the virus quick enough before it starts to replicate or spread out in the body. And then the virus causes a lot more damage to the body before the army or immune system can beat it.
Okay, I have one more. And can you tell me how safe is the vaccine?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to be in a quiet area during a Zoom meeting with no distractions. My phone's ringing, right? So the vaccine seems to be very safe. There have been lots of vaccines in the past that you guys have all had. I don't know how many vaccines you've had by the time you get to be 6 years of age. I would guesstimate 30 or 40 probably. They've given the vaccine to 20% of the US population, which is, I think, about 20 million people. I'd have to check those numbers to be sure. And the death rate or serious complication rate in that group of people is not really any higher than in the other 20 million people that didn't get the vaccine. I've reflected on this a lot. At first, I was a little bit hesitant to really advocate for the vaccine until I knew more and more about it. But seeing how tremendously horrible the disease has been for my patients over 65 and my patients with obesity and diabetes and heart disease, I 100% recommend that those people that are over 65 or with those health conditions absolutely get the vaccine, because their chance of serious illness is very high, and the chance the vaccine is going to harm them in any way other than just normal vaccine stuff is very, very low.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Tanner.
Thank you.
Now we will have AIM and Fly Girls events by Mr. Mike Bazell and Latressa Moses.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have any upcoming events. I just want to put out there. I want to thank Jaylene and Mia for showing up for the Great American Cleanup, our community cleanup project this past weekend. I greatly appreciate you, both of you, and Miss Juanetta Boda for showing up as well. I appreciate you. We did an excellent job cleaning up our community, and be on the lookout for future cleanup events as we go further. We are meeting again, ambitious young men. We're meeting this Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Teen Center. So if you have an opportunity to join us, please stop by. If you know any young man that needs to join the mentoring program, please let me know. And thank y'all for your time.
Uh-oh. Did I mute? Okay. Miss Michelle, you want me to go ahead and speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess I'll start the video. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Michelle, for this opportunity to share about STEM 101. My name is Latressa Moses, and I'm from Ocilla, Georgia, and I am the founder of a youth mentorship program called STEM 101. The overall mission of the program is to encourage and equip and empower young teenagers with essential life skills that they ultimately need as they grow and develop and transition into adulthood. I not only just serve young girls, but my goal is to also have an impact on the young males. And so I also look forward to collaborating with Mr. Mike and his young men in the future on future workshops and events. So if you know of any young girls in middle school or high school, you can reach out to Miss Michelle and she will let me know. We will also be meeting the same time as Mr. Mike and his young men on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. at the Teen Center in Douglas.
Thank you, Ms. LaTressa, and welcome. And just in case y'all are wondering who she's referring to, that's my middle name. So some people that know me from the community know me as Michelle, and then others know me as Denitra. So same person.
Now we will have social media events by Mia Batten.
Good evening, everyone. Residents who live in the middle quarters of Douglas may have the opportunity for grant funding and to revitalize their homes to see if you qualify. And for more information, please call Christian at 912-383-0277. The second junk-free day for Douglas citizens for March will be Saturday, March 20th, 2021 from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon at the city poll yard. Don't forget to be in the drop-off line prior to 7:58. Parks and Rec will have a baseball team, softball, track, and swim team seasons. For more information about registrations, please call 912-384-5978. The next city commission meeting will be Monday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Awareness Center. There will be a drive-by Easter egg hunt this year on Saturday, March 27th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Drive through Central Square Complex for the chance for the kids to see the Easter Bunny and receive a goodie bag from him. The next Main Street Market will be Saturday, April 3rd, 2021 from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Spend the day downtown and support local businesses. For more details, visit our website, cityofdouglas.com, or follow the City of Douglas and Mayor's Youth Council on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Douglas Mayor's Youth Council. And this has been your social media updates.
Thank you so much, Mia. And just want to say, I know you were not aware, but Mia Batten has been an outstanding member. All of our young people on the Mayor's Youth Council are extremely busy. We have some very committed young people that are part of different organizations, sports, academic, different endeavors, just really busy. They have full-grown schedules, but I just want to give recognition. I looked through and we were tallying up all our community service hours for the Mayor's Youth Council members, and Miss Mia, you have the most volunteered hours. So we want to recognize you today. Yay! And say thank you so much. I know you have had other, events and stuff too, and it's been difficult. I know it's been difficult for everybody, and COVID did not make things any easier for us. But I so greatly appreciate, I know you all are busy, so I appreciate when y'all take my messages and my millions of texts. Don't text me no more, Miss Denitra. But I do appreciate you all. But thumbs up, Miss Mia. We're gonna get you something special soon.
Now we'll have the Mayor Youth Council member comments.
And if you would introduce yourselves so that everybody will know your full names before you give your comments, please.
Starting with Commissioner Bagley.
Me? I didn't know if you said Batten or Bagley.
I had said you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm Caleb Bagley. I'm from Citizens Christian Academy. I'm a senior. I joined in a little bit late. I'm pardoned for the lateness. We had an FFA event and it ran over schedule. I'm so sorry about that. But what I got to hear was very interesting, and I'm just thankful for everyone that came, and hope to see y'all in the future, since this is our last meeting, I think, correct, Mr. Nitra?
Yes, sir, for this term. But we're getting applications for next term.
Okay, well, I would just like to thank all of y'all.
Now we will have Commissioner Williams.
My name is Jenna Williams, and I go to Citizens Christian Academy as well. Like Caleb just said, we are extremely sorry. Our FFA event was scheduled to be over way in enough time for us to be on this call. And as y'all know, technology is complicated and it always seems to hit you really hard. So, but I really did enjoy what I heard, and I just appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy day to come on here and be with each other and learn some very interesting things about COVID.
Now we will have Commissioner Harris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Addy Harris. I'm a freshman at Citizens Christian Academy. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for joining on, and thank you to Miss Swanetta and Mr. Nitra and Mayor Paulk for a great term. And thank you all for coming, and hope to see you soon.
And we'll have Commissioner Batten.
Hey everyone, I'm Mia. I'm a freshman at the George Washington Carver freshman campus. I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody that has supported us through this whole term. Congratulations to all spotlights, and I had a great term. It was really fun with COVID. So thank you.
Okay. Good evening again, everyone. My name is Jaylene Debro. I'm a sophomore at Coffee High School. And I would like to thank everybody for coming to our meeting. And I would like to thank Dr. Tanner and Mr. Bazell for speaking to us. And I have a couple of things for Teen Court. We are still accepting jurors and maybe even a couple of defendants or whoever. And you can pick up an application at City Hall and ask for Ms. Juanetta Bowden, or you can give Mr. Nitra a call at 912-331-9398. And we will also be accepting members for the Mayor's Youth Council next term. Thank you. Oh, and I have a quote. Leadership is about vision and responsibility, not power, by Seth Berkeley. And now I open the floor of a motion for approval of the adjourn of the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I thought someone else was going to do it, and I was like, okay.
We just had the second.
You got a second. May I have a second? May I have a second?
I second that motion.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.